Aloha and shalom, you guys. What's up? I'm here for the new moon activation, and I'm in a funny location, so here I am in my vehicle. But y'all are used to me by now, right? You know I do this from time to time. We can read tarot anytime, anywhere. So right now we're going to be doing it in the car. Definitely feeling the inspiration of this new moon. So new moons are all about new beginnings. It's the dark sky resembling that blank slate, that fresh slate. So we have a new lesson in the spotlight. We have a new challenge and a new opportunity. Last week with the final quarter, we closed up that last cycle and prepared for today and this week ahead for the new moon. Let me know in the comments where in the world you're tuning in from. I'm tuning in from the Verde Valley in Arizona. Where in the world are you? Just going to shuffle while you let me know in the comments. Where in the world are you? And feel free to share this video now with a family member, a friend, or somebody who you think could use some inspiration right now. Or feel free to wait till the end and share the recording with them. The video will also be loaded to YouTube and Instagram, Rebecca Magic, as usual. All right. Giving thanks in advance for this message that's about to come through. We're thanking the One. We're thanking the archetypes, the faces of the One. That includes you and I, includes all of us. I see a couple of messages from people here asking for a card. I'm guessing you're new here. We do this every week, and this is a reading for the collective consciousness. So it's specifically not just for the little single you. It's specifically for the collective you, of which we are all a part. So these readings are for all of us, and it's particularly designed that way so that we can see ultimately that we all have the same themes going on. So have no fear if you're wanting a reading just for you. It kind of is that way too, right? Because we're all a reflection. And so anytime we do these readings, it should apply to everyone. I can't tell you how many messages I get of people saying, "Are you sure you weren't talking directly to me?" Yeah, I feel that too. I feel like the archetypes are speaking directly to me, even though it's through me. I'm included in this collective consciousness, of course. And so I feel that these readings are tailor fit for me, just like my family sometimes will say, "Wow, I felt that was for me." Or some of you will reach out and say, "Wow, I felt that was exactly, informing me about my own situation." So no need to ask personal questions. We're all in this together. So again, thank you, archetypes, faces of the One. Thank you, all of us, for this message that's about to come through. Beginning with the challenge and gift of the week. Where we're launching from. Why we're going through this, and a little glimpse of what's ahead. So those two cards should be very directly connected. All the cards are very directly connected if you have the eye to see. So we're going to find out. We're going to see. We're going to see what's up. And then picking up the Hebrew deck, we're going to pull our main ally of the week. And are we there? Are we there? We're there. Okay, let's jump on in. So beginning with the challenge and gift. Ooh, Queen of Wands. Looks like this. And the queens are the heart of the matter, right? The queens are the heart of whatever the elemental suit is that you're pulling. Here we're pulling fire. It's the suit of spirit, passion, creativity, life force energy. And it's the queen of that, right? So she's the heart in that. She's the emotions and the feelings on our spiritual journey. It's like asking us to look at what are you feeling around where you are at right now in a spiritual sense. Are you remembering even what your spiritual journey is about? Because right now we need to first acknowledge what that is. What is the spiritual journey? It's always the same for all of us. It's about compassionate embodiment, that is being like God or source or the one, right? We're all here on that same mission of bringing the soul into the body, which is simultaneous with bringing heaven to earth. So that's firstly, right? When we're talking about our mission, our spiritual mission, we all share that. So she knows that. The Queen of Wands knows that that's her mission, and she's feeling her mission. She's really feeling into what am I most passionate about? What are my desires? And I've said this before a few times. I'm going to say it again. The Hebrew word for desire and will is the same. And our will is the center of why we came here, right? Like we're here to acknowledge the gift of our own free will and consciously, intentionally align that will with the will of the divine, which is always, always, always to bring heaven to earth, right? So our will is directly connected to our desires. She knows that. She is the part of all of us, whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter. It's a she because it's speaking to the feminine polarity within this situation. So what does that look like for all of us? She's asking us to really feel, be receptive to feeling what our true desires are right now. What are our true desires? What really lights us up? Take note in your mind, write it down. Do not suppress your desires. Do not deny your will. Those two are the same thing. Okay? Because our desires show us the way. They show us the way to sharpening our will, right? And you may judge some of your desires as bad, as negative, as not righteous, as not in alignment with that process of aligning our will with the will of the divine. And if you judge your desire as that, well, then it's up to you to use your free will to purify that desire. You still need to look at that desire and acknowledge it in order to do that. Do you see what I'm saying? So regardless of your judgments upon your desires, you need to first begin with being honest about what those desires are. What feelings do these desires bring up for me? Why do I have these desires? What are they here to teach me? And then from there, you, without denying any of them, you go through the process of speaking to each of these desires. How is this, and this desire, how are each of them going to aid me? How is the experience of these desires going to aid me on my journey of bringing my soul into my body, bringing heaven to earth? Now, either you'll judge these desires as positive, you'll be able to, with the power, the grand, profound power of your imagination, honestly see in your mind's eye what that desire would look like if you were to fulfill it and experience it. And from there, you will know, okay, this is in alignment with my learning. This is in alignment with my embodying more patience, more kindness, more trust, any of the virtues, right? If you can see that fulfilling that desire is going to lead to an opportunity for you to embody more of that, then go for it. Then go for it. Because remember, this physical reality and all these experiences in the external world are only here to be a vessel for this opportunity to embody more of the virtuous light. And all of the virtues are a part of the one all virtuous light of compassion. So developing any of them is getting you closer to embodying that godlike frequency, right? Or connecting to that source of all power. Okay, so start by acknowledging your desires. Then ask, what does it look like if I fulfill each of these? Now, if you get to some desires, this is all coming from the Queen of Wands, okay? If you get to some desires that say, oh, this is absolutely not good for me, then perhaps it is in the acknowledgement of that desire alone that will spark some realization. For example, if you say, I really want to drink these 3 bottles of wine tonight by myself. Wow, that's a desire that I'm first acknowledging. And then I'm asking, should I do this? Is this going to serve me? First of all, no matter what, it's going to serve you, because either you're going to do it and you're going to learn, or you're not going to do it and you're still going to learn. It's all learning, right? It's either a lesson or a blessing. The lesson transforms into a blessing anyway. So right off the bat, you can let go of any fear or anxiety and just do your best, right? So if you see that you have this desire arise and you know, well, that's really not going to serve me, then you go a little deeper and you ask, well, why do I have this desire in the first place? What was I hoping it would fulfill? What am I trying to achieve? And there, if you're honest with yourself and you ask what the root of that is and what you're actually wanting from it, you can ignite your will. You can activate your will to listen to this wise reflection you're having and redirect that energy towards something else that is healthy, that's actually going to bring you that fulfillment in a way that really does serve your spiritual and psychological evolution in a positive way. So for example, well, I wanted to drink all that so that I can numb myself. Well, how about doing a workout? How about trying something new and calling a friend? And when you use your will to fight temptation, the reward is grand. See, that's the thing. You think that if I just deny a part of my desires, which is also my will, which is also myself, that means I'm literally denying myself. You think if you do that you're going to be successful, but actually you're just brushing it under the rug. And if you're not giving it the attention, it's like a small child. It's going to get louder and crazier to get your attention, right? But on the contrary, if you acknowledge your will, be honest about it. Don't deny any one part of yourself. And then move beyond the temptation. You recognize the temptation and you willfully, with strength and courage and faith, go beyond that temptation, rise above that temptation. That's where the gold is. You're not going to get that. Oh, she's speaking. You're not going to get that gold by denying your desire, which is your will, which is a part of your soul and your mission. You are never going to get there by denial. So acknowledge all of the desires. Ask which ones you should oblige. Ask which ones you should fulfill. Then ask which desires you need to transform. Feel the temptation. And then consciously and intentionally rise above it. Okay, that's all represented by the 6 and the 7 in the major arcanum. 6, known as the lovers, aka the 2 paths. It's all about decision. And then 7 is the chariot. Okay, those 2 cards represent the part of the life story that we experience again and again, where we have a choice, right? The 2 paths, the lovers, which represents duality, many choices, temptation. We have the ability to make choices to either give in to temptation or rise beyond it. And then that's where we move from the 6 to the 7, and you have the chariot. And there we determine how high you're going to rise, how much you're going to ascend and evolve and be successful and victorious, right? That's what that piece represents. Okay, so that's our current challenge and gift. The Queen of Wands, really getting in touch with our desires, asking which ones we should fulfill and which ones we need to purify and transform, both requiring acknowledgement and active effort. Right? Like realizing the desire, understanding it, and then taking action upon the realizations that we have once we examine each of the desires. She also wants to leave us with this. Remember not to be too hasty. Remember not to be too impulsive. The Queen of Wands has that burning feeling for her desire. So as much as she has that passion, which is what we need, heart in the fire, heart in the matter, we still have to pause, feel that fire, understand what it's burning for, what our desires are. Don't just act, right? Because the Queen of Wands also has the potential to be really lost in her feelings and in that passion, that part of us that just wants to give in to those feelings. And we have to understand that that's amazing and perfect and serves us in recognizing, like, wow, I'm feeling this excitement. Oh my gosh, like, let me acknowledge what that excitement is for. So it gives us like a starting point to be able to examine, to be able to go into this introspective process of what our desires are. However, we're not meant to just act on all of them impulsively. So that is her message. Where we're moving from, Knight of Wands. We have another fire card, and there are 2 court cards in the fire suit. So again, we're still dealing with spirit. What brought us here to this moment of the Queen of Wands, right? The heart of the matter, the heart of the passion, was taking action on a lot of our desires. Okay, so what they're showing here is that in the recent past, what brought us to this moment is we have been examining our desires, and we may have been a little sloppy about it, not yet calling in the heart and the awareness to be able to understand those feelings. We've just been feeling them, feeling desires, feeling passion. For some, that can look like feeling a lot of anger. For some, that's excitement. For some, that's anxiety. The point is feeling movements of energy. We've been feeling a lot of desire, heat, okay, burning up of energy. And we've been like, let's go, let's fulfill this, let's get this, let's fight, let's whatever, like that energy's been building. And now we're coming to this point, like, okay, pause, bring the heart into the matter, and let's weave more of that heart-centered awareness into this action upon our desires. Let's allow the heart to really guide us. And what is the heart, like, which all the queens represent? The heart is the place where the truth resides, where balance resides, right? It's the center of the center. So when we can really tune in there to her, in a way that's authentic, we can tune into the heart, then we can really start to refine this process of going after our desires. Again, learning which ones to purify, learning not to deny any part of the desire or the desires, right? The queen tells us to really look at all this first before acting on anything and make sure that our truth and the truth is aligned with these desires and our pursuit of them. Okay, so we've been like, go, 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 go. And now we're like, oh, let's consider the heart and really hold our process up to that truth and make sure everything is gravy, make sure it's in alignment. Why we're going through this? The Ace of Swords. This is at the bottom of it all. And why we're going through it is so that we can be in our truth. And I literally just said this a few minutes ago, sharpening our will. We come here to sharpen our will. It's all about our will. The sword is a symbol for the will and truth. They are one, and we're here to learn that, right? So we're going through this so that we can sharpen our will. We're going through this so that we can own our truth, first of all, so that we can own our desires and all the truth around that. And so that we can align our desires with truth, so that we have the ability to fully stand by our thoughts, stand by our words, stand by our actions. We'll be able to say, yeah, I'm owning this desire because I know all the way through that this desire is in alignment with my truth and with the truth of the one. Okay, what that does, what all these cards are showing us is that if you act authentically on your desires and you refine them and don't deny any part of them, but talk to them, learn them, understand them, and then refine them to work for you, the one, then you move through this experience and all experiences in life with confidence, with purpose, with clarity, not like, oh man, like I'm doing this thing because I desire it, but I'm doing it behind closed doors, right? It's like somebody who has an eating disorder and now they're going to eat a cake in darkness because they're lying to themselves and telling themselves that if I just do this in the dark, no one will see me kind of thing. It's the same thing. We want to be able to be really sure, to be really certain about our desires, and then from there understand how they serve the will of the one through us. Understand? So when you do that, you are so in alignment with absolute truth that you walk without shame, without second guessing yourself, without doubts. You are aligned with your purpose and you fully trust that that desire is one with that purpose. Not only that, you also have all the powers that be on your side. You also have the one and the elements that make up all of this here and make up you. You have the participation of the support of all those elements in your experience. So your desires, once refined, as you take action upon those desires, confidently, fully owning them, knowing they're one with your purpose, the elementals and the cosmos and all of nature support you and align with your process to literally maximize your potential for expansion, right? Psychologically and spiritually. They maximize the potential for our one collective expansion, spiritually and psychologically. And they amplify your pleasure because you are meant to feel bliss. You are meant to feel fulfilled and blissful when you act on your desires. right? Like when you act on a lower frequency desire, like say like drugs, right? Drugs and alcohol. It feels good, right? But it's false. It's temporary. It's not sustainable. You do it at a cost. You're making a sacrifice. However, when you refine your desires and align them with your purpose, and they are able to work with the divine plan of bringing heaven to earth, your pleasure is greater than you could have ever imagined. It's greater than any drug, any alcohol, any external thing. Because you living your purpose, first of all, is the greatest drug. And then you aligning your will with your purpose, which is you aligning your desires with your purpose, then when those desires are pursued and fulfilled, that pleasure you receive is not just for yourself, but it's for the one. And so everyone and everything is lit up by your fulfillment of your desire. You connect your desires to everything, to all of life. And that is profound because you spread your aura to reach all of life. And that is the container that then receives the pleasure. You know what I'm saying? So a smaller way to understand this and practice this is to, like, say you're going to smell a flower. Before you smell it, and there are lots of cultures that do this and have prayers for this. Before you smell it, you say, I'm going to remember that I'm one with all of life. I'm going to remember what God is, what source is. And I'm going to remember that I'm that vessel. And when I take this sniff of this beautiful, fragrant flower, I'm going to smell it as that expanded one, right? So we're giving thanks. We're being thankful, which is the highest frequency already. We're thanking before we even take the action. And then we receive as and for the one. And so when you smell that flower, you're not just like, wow, that smells amazing. You're like, wow, that smells amazing, right? And it blows you away every time. And so that is how you enhance your sensory experience. And that is how you weave purpose into your sensory experience, because that is bringing heaven to earth. When you smell that natural, amazing, gorgeous flower and you become the instrument for that pleasure to be experienced for the one, that is bringing heaven to earth. That is living your purpose. So that's what you want to do with everything. That's what you want to do on a grander scale. And that's the message here right now. When we can align our desires and really shape them, refine them to work for the one, to be in alignment with our purpose, then your desire becomes the desire and the focus of the universe. And everything and everyone conspires to fulfill your pleasure. But you don't feel that pleasure alone. It becomes for everyone. So while it becomes their desire, it also becomes their pleasure, our one shared pleasure. You understand that, right? Because if you're walking around in shame, you can't fully experience pleasure. If you're walking around trying to fulfill a desire, but you're not connecting your purpose to it, it's not going to bring that same level of satisfaction. In fact, it's going to be extremely short-lived, and there's going to be a part of you inside that knows that you're wrong. There's going to be a part of you deep inside, that truth, that voice of truth is going to be, is watching you. So you cannot hide. There ain't no hiding place from the Father of creation, right? You can't hide. You can't hide, gonna find you. All right, so now we have one more tarot card and the Hebrew ally. So let's see what is to come of this. All right, so just to recap, we have been fiery, fiery, fiery. Now we're coming to the heart to really examine what all that fire is. How can we train that fire, refine it to connect it to our purpose so that my desires become one with the universe's desires, so that my desires become fulfilled in a way that is truly deep and profound and sustainable. And what we're stepping into, so now we have a major arcanum. You guys, we had a knight, a queen, an ace, and a major arcanum card. Super powerful. I'm going to go ahead and pause for 1 second, and I'm going to see. Well, I was trying to get this troll out of our chat, but that's okay. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know how to do that. I need like some like activation bodyguards. Okay. So we're stepping into the Hanged Man, aka the martyr. right? We're going through this. Why? Why are we going through this? Like learning what my desires are and how to alchemize them and transform them and connect them to my purpose so that my pleasure is our pleasure, one pleasure. Why am I going through this? This is so that we can step into the Hanged Man, see from a new perspective, okay? Let's say he was right side up first, right? And he was going through all of his addictions and desires without even fully grasping, hey, these are my desires. This is what they're serving. This is how they're not serving me. Like he hasn't even gone through that process yet, right? And now we're moving through this so that we can step into, so we can flip upside down, have a new perspective, so we can step into the analysis of those desires. So we can step into this process of connecting and purifying and connecting our desires to our purpose. And when we do that, oh my gosh, it lights us up. We can see from a whole new perspective, and we begin to live from a place of greater illumination. We begin to live from a place of true pleasure and connectedness to all of life. And who comes after the 12? 13, death, aka transformation, aka the Reaper. So then we can allow that old self to die. It's like we're going to illuminate ourselves here. We're going to pause. We're going to analyze our desires and learn how to work with them. So from there, we eliminate so much shame, so much guilt, so much anxiety, so many fears, so much self-denial. And all that stuff was combining to make us who we are, to have us appear as we are. And we're not going to be that anymore, right? When we let go of all those things, our identity completely shifts. We alchemize into a completely new being. Our cells open up to a new program and we become a whole new person. So have this excitement, knowing that this process of understanding your desires, refining them, connecting to them to your purpose is going to have you being a whole new person. Because you're going to let go of all of the yucky stuff that held you down, that kept you more dense. This could lead to like, shifts in your physical being, like losing weight or like gaining, if that's what you need, like coming back into balance with your physical body. It could lead to strengthening within your physical body because all of these emotional and mental darknesses or illnesses that come from attachment and fear and all these things and like negative desires, temptation, all those shadows in the emotional and mental realms reflect physically, right? So as you eliminate those dark things and you see, you're going to see, it's going to be reflected in every dimension. It's going to be reflected in your very physical being. So expect a total transformation. Expect to let go of so much of that heaviness, that density that you've been carrying simply because you haven't been fully owning who you are. You haven't been fully acknowledging, understanding, or purifying your desires. You haven't been doing that process, taking accountability, and then weaving your desires with your purpose. I bet you didn't even know that your desires were worthy. I bet you've been invalidating your own self. I bet you've been invalidated left and right everywhere you go in this reality because that's the way the world is designed. And no one's out to get you. It's set up perfectly that way for evolution. Mwah, it's a blessing. Oh my God, so grateful for the challenges, which are opportunities. So as long as we can remain aware, we can be successful. So stop invalidating yourself. Understand your desires are extremely important, okay? There's a whole tarot card dedicated to them. It's card number 6, Temptation, okay? Can someone block this troll? Like, how do we get him out of here? I'm gonna do it. I don't know them. Okay. Well, I hope I did it. I don't know. Block him. Yeah. Okay, I blocked him. Okay, so you need to understand, first of all, the validity of your desires. You need to understand what your desires even are. And again, the Hebrew word for desire is one with will. And our will is extremely important, right? Like our free will is our greatest gift from God, like as children of the One, right? And so we need to understand how our desires are one with that and how important our desires are, and stop denying any of them and just listen to them and understand them, make sense of them, talk to them, give them a vessel so that you could actually speak to them, look at them with honesty, with authenticity, and then do something with those desires. act on it. Act on them. And your life will change. Your life will change because you will be owning not only your desires, you'll be owning your will, which is your purpose. And you will feel so empowered and so connected to all of life. It will change everything about who you are. And the ally of the week is Ayin. A-Y-I-N, that's the Hebrew letter Ayin. It's going to be flipped on the camera so you can Google it. And the Ayin is connected to Arcanum 16, the Tower. When all that is false falls away, when we are liberated, there's a turn of events. The Ayin, the hieroglyphic symbol for the Hebrew letter, is an eyeball, right? And you connect that to the divine, and that's how you get the secret definition of the hidden meaning of that letter. So an eye is obviously the eye of the one. It's the all-seeing eye, the infinite eye of creation, the eye of creation and destruction, Shiva's eye of Shiva, all these different names for it. So how is this the ally of the week? It's saying, really see the truth. See why you came here. Everything we just said is connected to this ally. See why you really came here. See with your innermost eye. Do not turn a blind eye to any of your desires, which are so important. And see, examine, analyze that desire through the eye of the one, the most high perspective, which is the mother, father, God, the masculine and feminine in unity. The truth that lives in your heart is a representation of this. Okay, so see from that perspective, from your heart, from the eye of truth, whatever you want to call it, and apply that perspective. Act on that perspective based on what you reflect on about your desires. Okay, and looking at how this is connected to Arcanum 16, the Tower, allow what isn't real to fall away now. Don't wait for the rug to be pulled out from under you. And then you're going to play victim and act like you don't know who did that. There's only you here, honey. It's only one. So don't wait for that, shock, and then use that to be a victim and pretend that you had no idea it was coming. You know what's coming. You always know. Close your eyes, see with your inner eye, and view the truth there, because your imagination reveals all, okay? You are connected to the universal mind. Access it. Access it. And don't wait. Act on the truth now. Let go of what really isn't you. Stop denying parts of yourself and liberate the true parts of yourself. Allow them to be expressed. For the one, in the name of the one, in the name of our shared one pleasure, as it assists in bringing heaven to earth, soul into body. Your desires can be anything. Anything. If you can look at that desire and its fulfillment and imagine, wow, fulfilling this desire is going to help me to be more virtuous, is going to help me be a better person in some way, have more patience, have more open-mindedness, have more compassion in some way, then that's how you know that desire is for the one. It's going to be fulfilled for the one, and you can connect the pleasure before you even physically experience it, just in your imagination. You can dedicate that pleasure right away, and the pleasure of the thought alone, to the one, and say, oh, I'm going to feel no shame in going after this because it's for us. It's for the one. Wow. A knight, a queen, a major arcanum, an ace, and the eye, the all-seeing eye. I personally really feel this. I've been really in this process. I can see how it's connected to my personal journey. Feel free to share in the comments or in our private group, the Archetypal Alliance, how this is connected to your personal journey, so we can see these readings are really for all of us. And I can share that in this journey, for me, connecting my desires to fulfilling my purpose has helped me to remain a very positive person, has helped to keep my vitality rising, has helped to keep me just healthy in every way, mind, body, and soul. It helps my relationships. And I'll say that one of my favorite parts of this process has been just being a beacon for others, being an example for others to own who they really are and not deny their desires. I like to be that, and may we all enjoy thoroughly, be passionate about, put that heart in it, be passionate about being that reflection for others. Like, hey, this is my authentic self. And what I love the most about being authentic, aside from being supported by the whole universe because I'm authentic, aside from being super healthy and feeling amazing because of it, aside from all of those amazing benefits, my favorite part is how it affects my brothers and sisters, one another, because we are in it together. We're not here to do it alone. We're each a microcosm of the macrocosm. And the more of us that get in on this, the better, right? Like one light is bright, more lights are better, right? So that is my favorite part of this process, is owning myself and showing others you can and you should do it too. And I'm not trying to convince you. I'm showing you that when you do this, when you go through this process, you're going to feel good, man. You're going to feel good, girl. And that is everything. And then you start to see your friends being like, you know what? I have this desire. I have that desire. I'm not hiding this anymore. And I see how actually I shouldn't have shame around this. And I see how I can actually let go of that desire now that I even realize that. Or I see how I'm finally ready to pursue that desire. Whatever. If you are being your authentic self and you're inspiring others to be their authentic self, that change is profound for all of us. It is truly a great mission being accomplished in the name of the divine plan of bringing heaven to earth. So get to being authentic, get to understanding your desires and their purpose and how you can work with them and uplift all of life through this process. Inspire one another to be that courageous, because really there's no other reason we're here. Really, this is everything. There is no excuse and no justification to saying, no, I don't want to be authentic. No, I don't want to get to know my desires. No, I don't want to be fulfilled. What? Yes, you do. We all do. Okay? We all do. So get with it. And thank you to everybody for being here. I look forward to how this week is going to unfold. New moon, like powerful energy. And then next week we'll get together for the first quarter and kind of see where this takes us, where this has taken us. And thank you to everybody for your donations. I appreciate you. You know who you are. You can give back if you feel called. If this activation was helpful or previous activations were helpful, you can Venmo me, Rebecca-Magic, as it's spelled here with a CK. I have other forms too if you want to message me and ask me. If you don't have Venmo, if you want to leave a review, that's such a great way to give back. You could do it at facebook.com/RoyalPathTarot. There's a way to leave a star review and write it. If you can't figure that out, email me your review. Let me hear from you. info@RoyalPathTarot.com, or private message me here. Same thing if you want a one-on-one reading. Private message me here or email me info@royalpathtarot.com. They make the best gift for yourself, for your family, your friends, for anyone, any age, wherever you're at. You don't have to be going through something negative to reap the benefits of a reading from the Archetypal Alliance. They will enhance your experience no matter what it is in any moment. So reach out if you want that. And thank you for those of you who've been giving me feedback on my books. Yes, if you want to learn how to talk to the archetypes yourself, my books are for you. You can be a beginner or advanced. It doesn't matter. I've got one book on the major arcana, one on the minor. Ask me about my tarot courses online. I have videos, like over 40 or 50 hours of video classes. So if you want to learn that way and go deeper into the occult symbolism, I've got you covered on that too. And thanks for being here with me in my vehicle for this activation. And I love you guys. Be blessed. Do the work. We'll be doing it together. I'll see you next week. Shalom.